Oh, that's the beautiful sound I like to hear. That's the sound of the Gaming and Drinking Cast. Hello, Internet. Welcome to episode 15, recording number 1 of the Gaming and Drinking Cast. If you listened last week, you know we had to record that one 4 times. So we're going to hit this one right on the head, knock it out of the park. It's going to be great.
Newman Park.
Yep. So
what I'm drinking.
Nice. I'm Adam Gogan. That there's Travis Casey. Ooh. Yeah, this one just looks like molasses.
Oh boy.
Yeah, what are you drinking, Travis?
I'm drinking Newman Park American Lager from New Sarum Brewing, the company I work for.
Okay.
It is a light American lager, 4.5%. If you've ever had our Yadkin River, it is the light version of that, basically.
Can I see that one again?
Good. The lighting in here, I can't
the color, I want to see the beer. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. Just a classic light lager.
Tastes like I just spent like all day working in the yard and got a beer.
So it's good though, right? It's not like a watered down like Bud Light kind of thing, right?
No. It's full flavored. It's got a lot of the qualities that you like in the Yadkin. It has the same type of thing. It's just a lighter version. It's not quite as malty as the Yadkin, but it is still full bodied and it tastes like a really good lager. Like you wouldn't, if I didn't tell you that it was a light lager, you wouldn't know, except for the ABV on it, but that's like a regular ass lager for most things. It's just not 6.2 like the Yadkin is, you know.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to give that one a shot for sure, because I know I sell the heck out of the Yadkin.
And you're about to get some.
It's a good beer for sure. And if there's a light version of that, I can't wait to get my hands on.
This is a good summer drinking out in the sun type beer.
Okay. Well, I am going the complete opposite direction.
Nice.
I am drinking. This is a collab between Prairie Artisan Ales and Spaceship Earth Coffee Company.
Okay.
It's called The Bomb, and it is an imperial stout aged on coffee, cocoa nibs, vanilla beans, and chili peppers.
Okay. It's a Prairie in a bottle.
Yeah.
Is it 12 ounces still?
I believe so. Yeah, it's 12 ounces. But it is 13%.
Jeez.
And it looks like a glass of molasses.
I love it.
So let's see. Oh, you can definitely smell that coffee. Oh, that is good. Oh yeah, that's
when they do that. I wonder.
It kind of reminds me of like a Mexican cake or.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Or the Mexicali stout, but not quite as spicy. But it does have some chili peppers in there. So
I wonder when they do that. I should probably know this, but we don't do any coffee beers where I'm where I work for. But like the caffeine, does that stay in the brew?
I hope so.
Feels like it can't though, because like remember when the government got all pissy and took the caffeine out of Four Loko?
Took the Loco out of the Four Loko?
Yeah, that's what's up with that.
Now it's just 4.
Yeah, now it's just 4. It's not 4 to the floor anymore. It's just 4.
4 totally level-headed.
Yeah. Yes, that's what they should have called it. That would have been a good name for it. Now it's just a malty beverage. When I worked at Comer, we went up there one time because in Rock Hill they sell Four Loko, and they let us try the hemp flavor of Four Loko, and it literally tasted like gasoline.
That's like disgusting.
I feel like you could have put this in your tank and you could have driven somewhere with it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you could change your oil with this one.
That's also probably. I guess that doesn't make the taste any worse, but boy, that hemp Four Loko was maybe the worst thing I've ever.
Dude, that sounds terrible. Four Loko. I mean, when we were younger and it had the caffeine in it, like you dealt with it because it had caffeine in it, and you were like, I'm getting turned the fuck up.
You didn't drink it for the flavor, that's for sure.
No, you drank it so you could have like 2 and then spend $3 downtown instead of 30.
Or you started with what Jason and I used to do. We would leave work. We worked out in Chapin, and we drive back downtown. And don't do this at home, kids. This is not like a recommendation.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly. We would drink hurricanes on the way home from work and then get ready to go downtown. And if you don't know what a hurricane is, It is an 8% malt, Schlitz malt, or not Schlitz malt, an 8% like malt beverage, not even a beer, a freaking malt beverage. And it tasted awful, but we didn't drink it for the flavor.
Was it like malt liquor? Like a Colt 45 or like a King Cobra?
It's very similar to a Colt. Yeah, very similar to Colt 45. I don't know do they still call that malt liquor? Because it's like not liquor.
They call it malt liquor.
Do they?
I think
I remember the can said like malt beverage. So like I think it's probably more akin to the Manischewitz and the Mad Dog 2020.
I tried Manischewitz for the first time not too long ago.
It's awful.
I didn't think it was terrible.
Oh, good Lord.
I think it was around Christmas time, actually.
Had you already been drinking?
Probably. I'm always already been drinking.
That might, yeah. That might explain it why you were like, oh, this is pretty good. You know, like after you've had a few, everything is pretty good.
I mean, I'm not picky, dude. Like,
yeah,
I really like I'm hard pressed to find something. I'm like the Roger Ebert of beer critics. Like, I give everything 2 thumbs up.
But but you would also then have to get really weirdly mad about things that everybody else likes if you want to be Ebert. Like he would come in and trash, like, you know, I think he said Blade Runner was like the worst movie ever made at one point. Zero thumbs. So you got to have like, just like you got to trash like a really popular beer at some point.
I mean, I hate Bud Light.
No, I'm thinking more like like what's a universally loved like IP, like a Ballast Point Sculpin IPA?
I hate like hate Pernicious or something.
Yeah, I hate Pernicious. I don't think Pernicious is that great personally, but maybe it's just the ubiquity of it now.
Maybe you're the Roger Ebert.
No, because I don't like everything. I'm pretty picky. When it comes to beer, though, it takes a lot for me to not like it. Like I would rather have a terrible, like ambitious beer than a boring middle of the road, you know, like
exactly
no flavor beer, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not really, I'm into like something that's weird, doesn't quite hit the mark, as long as it's doing something creative and kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I would take that any day over like a hazy IPA that you've had a million friggin' times. You know, that is just so boring to me at this point. Yeah. I'm pretty much, I'm going to drink an IPA later in the show, but that is like my least go-to beer now. Like I will drink I'll drink almost anything else other than that right now.
Well,
I don't know why.
I'm kind of the same way, man. They're just so like everybody makes an IPA, and it's because they sell. People love IPAs.
People love them.
And I mean,
the best IPA
not bad.
You're not gonna like. I don't ever drink an IPA and I'm like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll drink a dark stout or a lager and I'm like, oh man, that's fucking good. But I don't feel like I've had that reaction with IPAs. I'm mostly like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. You know, like it's never like, oh man, unless it's like a sour IPA or an IPA, like a triple IPA, something that's doing something a little different.
Or like something like some kind of flavored IPA. I'd really like some flavored IPAs. Like today, we were in Charlotte and I had a blood orange IPA. No, it's just a blood orange pale ale.
It's just blood orange pale, yeah.
But still, the difference is just the amount of hops.
Like the charismatic megafauna from Hazelwood, I think is delicious. But that one almost doesn't even, it's got so much more complexity going on with it than just like a regular double IPA. You know, it doesn't taste, you could put that up against like say Freak of Nature by Wicked Weed and they taste totally different, even though they're both double IPAs. Yeah. And I think that's like a testament to that brew, you know, it's not like every other IPA you've ever had.
Yeah, but like I like the as much as I hate to say it, the Sierra Nevada Going Coastal, dude.
It's Sweetwater.
Is it Sweetwater? It is Sweetwater. It is.
We talked about this last week.
Did we?
I think it might have been on a deleted show though.
Probably.
Because I remember you did the same exact thing. But yeah, the Going Coastal is Sweetwater.
Yeah, the pineapple, and then also the grapefruit sculpin. I'm a big fan of the grapefruit sculpin as well.
And even though I don't think Ballast Point distributes in this area anymore, unfortunately. Great brewery that just got, I think they've been passed around and bought like 3 different companies that bought them in the past few years. And I think they've lost their will to want to distribute out on the East Coast from what I can tell. Yeah. Which, you know, don't really blame them after all they've been through, but
Sculpin's great beer.
Great beer. Great beer. Yeah. But, I remember the first time I ever had it, I was like, this tastes almost like drinking a pine tree and I'm into it. Yeah.
Oh goodness. Well, cheers to you, Ballast Point. Hopefully you'll come back around here.
We'd love it.
Comer will distribute you.
Well, we did, or they did used to.
Oh yeah, that's right. We should do it again.
Let them know. Let the higher ups know.
I will. I'll call Kip after this.
There you go. Hey, what can we do about getting all the ballast point back over here?
Oh God. But anyways, man, yeah, been a pretty good week. Going good at work still, chugging along. I played my first round of golf in like 5 years the other day because one of my
Nice.
friends actually gave me a set of clubs
Mhm.
that he just happened to get from where he worked.
They fall off the
He's
back of somebody's truck or something.
no, he rents a warehouse that he does that's his shop. And the guy that was renting it before left this set of clubs there. And my friend reached out to him and told him, like, hey, you need to come get these clubs. And it's been over a year now. And the guy still hasn't come and got his clubs. So Mac was like, I don't want these in my shop anymore. Do you want these clubs? So I was like, hell yeah. I've always wanted to play golf, but I never wanted to spend the money on golf clubs.
Right.
So I got these free clubs now, and I went and played with my dad the other day, and it was really embarrassing. So today
90 on 9.
I didn't keep score. a few times I would just like lose the ball and I'd be like, I'm just gonna hit mine where yours went.
Oh yeah, that's like playing with dad 101 right there.
Yeah.
Like you play every day, every week at least, and I haven't played in 3 years. We're just gonna run around and see what happens.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I it's a lot of fun. So that was Sunday, and then I went and did my running yesterday, and then today, like for my half marathon training, it was like just do a little bit of exercise. So I went into the driving range and hit like a shit ton of balls. And
Nice.
Actually it's getting better. I think if I actually like put my mind to it and play for a while, I think I might be okay.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's like anything else, practice, you'll get there. Especially driving range. Driving range is hugely important. Although the fundamentals of like chipping and putting, which is to me the hardest part of golf, are harder to do at the driving range. You can do a little bit of chipping, but not the really short game chipping.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you though, my pitching wedge and my 9-iron, I think, are my best clubs that I can hit with.
Hell yeah. Now you just got to learn to drive the ball straight.
Yeah, that's the one I'm real bad at. Like, it's like, you ever seen Caddyshack 2?
No.
Well, the guy in Caddyshack 2 has such a bad slice that he literally
turns sideways.
He turns backwards. he turns completely backwards, and the ball like boomerangs around back the other way.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that movie's Caddyshack 2 doesn't get enough love. I mean, Caddyshack 1 is a classic, but Caddyshack 2 is really good too.
Yeah.
Anyways, how's your week been going, dude?
It's good. Been driving
Other than
around
the
a lot.
sweet tank top.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my Star Wars tank top. Can't see. And I've just been, working a lot. I've been so busy that I haven't really had time to kind of settle down and chill. So I'm glad we're getting to do this tonight because it's kind of a nice break for me. But just working, and like you said, I've been exercising, trying to get myself back into shape for the summertime. I did 3.75 miles today for my run. And now I have this little like cough thing, like raspberry in my throat that I can't really seem to get rid of after being out in the pollen and it wasn't cold per se, but it was a little chilly, and getting, running and getting winded and sweaty. I feel like I'm just inviting, some kind of,
trust me,
that spring sickness in.
Trust me, I know all about that. When we were in the car today, you actually witnessed firsthand like a minor one of my like sneeze fits.
A minor allergy attack.
Yeah, dude, they get rough. But like I was just sitting there like I can't sneeze and it hurts.
Yeah, you did. You literally the car came to a complete stop as you tried to sneeze. Like you were choking on something.
Yeah, that was very minor. The bad ones are when I can't stop sneezing over and over. They're a lot more painful.
So I have to go back to Charlotte tomorrow. And I'm going to pick up the Firkin.
Nice. You got it.
Yeah.
You talked to Kip. Okay.
Yeah. Kip got it. Swing by Comer, pick up the Firkin, take it to Salisbury, and then head back down to Charlotte. So my day's going to be real long again tomorrow. So let's toast to that.
Let's toast to all that windshield time, buddy.
I'll say this though. I used to drive around a ton, when I worked with Comer, and now I drive a lot for when I'm traveling, but I don't travel every day anymore.
Mhm.
So sometimes I'm just going down the road to accounts, or I'm going downtown or going out to Lexington. So it is kind of nice that I'll get to like catch up on podcasts and stuff that I haven't been able to listen to in a while. Because I used to just, when you're driving around all day to different accounts, like from 8 until 4, like I was at Comer, I would just listen to podcasts literally all day. So I'd run out of podcasts. Now I've got the backlog podcasts. So it'll be nice to catch up on some stuff while I'm doing a lot of driving this week.
Yeah, when I was living in Florida, I did a shit ton of driving every day, like an hour this way, an hour and a half that way, an hour this way, and then home all the time.
Yeah.
And so I'd get to listen to like 6 podcasts a week, probably.
Yeah.
Now with my driving, it's all pretty local. So I listen to like 2 podcasts a week. And so I definitely have some catching up to do.
And then we listened to our own podcast.
We did. That was like one of the most narcissistic things. I was like, "You want to listen to our podcast together?"
We were just channeling our inner Kanye.
I mean, I like to, Roger Ebert myself sometimes.
Yeah, you got to see if you don't listen to yourself, you don't know what to fix, you don't know what to work on, you don't know what to, try to make better the next time.
Just do better.
Right. It's just like we said about golf. It practice, and the only way you can learn from something is it's like watching film. When you're playing a sport, you got to watch yourself to know what to improve on, and you got to listen to yourself to know what to improve on when you're podcasting.
It's you remember Brink, the Disney movie?
Vaguely, yes, the roller skating movie, right?
Yeah, they're soul skaters.
Soul skaters.
That's what they called themselves. They were the soul skaters because they didn't skate for the money. They skated for the freedom skating gave them.
That sounds like a Shin Megami Tensei, like.
We're soul skaters.
Yeah, like they get summoned to the devil world and they're all soul skaters and they're skating around.
That's not far off.
wasn't there like an asshole bully kid?
Yeah, and he was on like the sponsored skate team, and like he was trying to get Brinkley or whatever the fuck his name was to join up, and he was like, "I can't, man. I'm a soul skater."
Is that why it's called Brink? Because his name is Brinkley?
Yeah, his last name is Brink something.
Okay.
And but they're in this like they're at the end of the movie, they're in this like skate tournament, and like Brink is losing and his little sister is there, and she's like, "Hey, I've got a tip for you." He's like, "What is it?" And she's like, "Just skate better." And he's like, is that
like the heartfelt moment of the movie?
No, he's like, "Just skate better. Thanks."
Wow. So the writer of that was doing like a mountain of cocaine when he did that. He was just like, you know what? What if we just said the thing and then made the kid think about the thing and then and that's how they came up with that.
It was like a jokey thing. Like he was like, "Shut the hell up! Like just skate better. Fuck off."
Oh, that's good. I thought they were playing it for serious.
No, it wasn't serious. Like he was sarcastically like, "Just skate better." How did I not think of that?
Oh, okay. Actually, I would like it better if they did it the other way and just played it for like super straight, like just skate. And that's like the mantra that he has in his head as he's going, like the Karate Kid style.
Just skate better.
Where he's like, sweep the leg or whatever. Instead, it's just skate better. I think that would be really good, actually.
Oh, those old DComs.
Disney coms.
Disney Channel original movies.
Are you a Cinderella person?
No, I never saw that movie.
That might have been right after your time. My sister loved that movie. So
like I liked Brink. I liked Johnny Tsunami. I liked Halloween Town.
Halloween Town was good. Yeah, I remember that one. That was early Disney Channel movies.
Yeah, that was like one of the first ones. And it had what's her name? Carrie Fisher's mom. I can't remember her name, but she's amazing, and she's amazing in that movie. Like the cast in Halloween Town, it's like, how did y'all do this? And I think it's because it was like one of Disney Channel's first movies. They're Disney like, listen, we're doing this.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. Does Disney Channel still make movies? Well, I guess they have Disney Plus now.
Yeah, but you can all those old Disney movies are all on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, I watched Johnny Tsunami not too long ago.
You can watch Brink right now.
I watched Johnny Tsunami.
I watched Halloween Town in the background. I was doing something else, like reading or something, but I put it on in the background while I was doing something last Halloween. It was actually pretty.
I watched that one every Halloween. That's one of my Halloween list movies.
I like it's either for me, it's either that one or like Hocus Pocus or which is also
that's on
Disney
there.
Plus.
That's on my list too. And Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, Nightmare Before that's more of a Christmas movie to me, but
it's both. I like so I have a Nightmare Before Christmas wreath that is like the wreath with the teeth and stuff.
Yeah.
And that goes on my door and on around Halloween and stays through Christmas.
I like it.
Like Nightmare Before Christmas is equally a Halloween and a Christmas movie for me.
There's usually like a lot of actual horror movies I watch, but I always like to do like low key stuff too, like stuff from when I was a kid. Like I really like episodes of old shows that are themed for Halloween. Like Snake used to do like a Doug episode, an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, Our Real Monsters episode. You know, so I like to watch some of those if I can find them. Sometimes it's hard to find that stuff, but you can always like any type of old show like that from the 90s. I think is like always good for Halloween.
I bet they're on Paramount Plus.
So strangely, Paramount Plus doesn't have a lot of Nickelodeon stuff. I don't know if it's because of the Viacom CBS thing now. Viacom is owned by CBS now, so I'm not sure what their Paramount stuff is.
Okay, well that sucks because but another reason to watch Paramount Plus is that Halo show.
Have you watched it?
I haven't, but I've heard it's really good.
I saw a GIF of the like first 10 minutes and it's just people getting splattered and obliterated. I think it's the fall of Reach, if I had to guess.
Kyle watched it and he said like the very first 10 minutes is just like a crazy battle with Master Chief just fucking shit up.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm sure that once the story kicks in, it's probably going to make me mad because it doesn't follow the original like Halo story. But you know, I never
played Halo for the story. I only played it for the multiplayer. So I'm stoked to see a Halo live action show. I've really thought about subscribing to Paramount Plus just for that lately.
Well, you get I think you get like 2 weeks free if you just do the free trial. So
well, then I should just wait for the whole season to come out.
Exactly. And then do it all and
then do the free trial. That's kind of my game plan.
Speaking of that, Moon Knight starts tomorrow.
Ooh, does it?
Yeah, it looks so fucking good. I love Moon Knight as a character. I read
Moon Knight's cool, dude.
A bunch of the Jeff Lemire run on that, and it was so good. So I think that's what they're basing it on too, is that Jeff Lemire run. So I'm really, really stoked about that.
Hell
I think it's gonna be great.
Word. Well, yeah, there's a lot of cool media to look out for, not just games, but we are here to talk about some video games.
Yeah.
What we've been playing along with what we've been drinking, and I've had half of this and I can already feel it a little bit.
All right. So the YouTube watchers at home, watch Adam's eyes over the course of the episode. They'll slowly get a little more
wonky.
Yeah, wonky's a good word for it. I don't even know how to but you'll know it when you see it, viewer. You'll know it. You'll see it.
Now I'm gonna sit like this for the entire time.
I don't think that helps the case of not being fucked up.
It's gonna be like
Can you do that? Can you do the like Peter Sarsgaard? Like, oh God. Wow.
I can.
Oof. That made my eyes hurt.
Yeah. Oof. For audio listeners, I just crossed my right eye and left my left eye staring at Travis.
Yeah, that's weird.
Anyways, let's talk about some video games. I think I'll go first this week.
Yeah, you got the biggest release of the week for sure.
Yeah, so I have been playing some Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And if you want to see some of that, go check out twitch.tv/gaming and drinking. I have been streaming that. I've done 2 streams. The first stream, I didn't realize I had a very framey stream going out and it looks like shit. So watch the second Tiny Tina stream. That one's a lot better. But that one, that game is really good, dude. That game is really good.
So frame it for me against Borderlands 3, which I really liked at first, but I never finished. I got off of it for some reason.
It is similar to Borderlands 3, but it's definitely its own thing. You can tell, I mean, obviously it's on the same engine. Some of the guns have some of the like same attributes, like same kind of, there's like some of the guns that pop up with the shield. There's the Jacobs gun that you can throw. There's the Jacobs guns that all the scopes like flower out when you zoom in and like,
oh yeah, I like that. Yeah,
they have that same exact flowering scope. And I was like, Jacobs didn't make these guns, but whatever. So those, a lot of the guns are really similar. They have similar abilities and things. But the main difference for me that I'm liking the most, well, there's two, but one of them is that instead of like tech abilities or like the regular Borderlands ultimates, they've kind of and grenades, they've replaced grenades with spells, like straight up like D&D spells. And it's pretty funny because you can choose like what style of voice you want your character to talk in, whether you want it to be like a trickster type character or like a clever character.
You can actually create a character for the first time.
Now, right? Yeah. I straight up created my whole character, and
that's cool.
I made like a clever spellcaster. And so he's got a lot of really funny, like the writing in this is way better than Borderlands 3. I haven't wanted to punch my screen except like twice. And
is the writing better, or is it because the voice actors are like Andy Samberg? And
the writing is better. The writing and the voice acting is better.
Yeah, Wanda Sykes. I feel like they make it go down a little bit easier.
Yeah, you got Will Arnett as the big bad.
Will Arnett, yeah. Like that just seems way better. Like Tiny Tina has always annoyed the shit out of me. But when she did
she's one of the characters that I didn't hate.
Okay. Yeah. There's something about her that just grates me. I didn't find her quite as annoying in the, was it 3 when you find her and she's like older?
Yeah.
I mean, she's still annoying, but she doesn't have that like really high pitched bratty voice.
Oh, she does in this for sure.
Yeah, because she's back to being young again.
Yeah, this is a direct sequel to
the one shot
Storm of Dragon Keep or whatever.
Assault on Dragon Keep.
Yeah, Assault on Dragon Keep. And I enjoy the writing a lot more. I also love having spells instead of grenades. Absolutely love it.
So you mentioned that the tech tree was different. What's different about that?
So I'm not sure about everybody, but I'm, like I said, I'm the spellcaster. And the very first, you know how like usually on your tech tree, you have like 2 ultimate abilities up here, and you start with one and then you unlock the other, and then you can choose one of those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the one you start with as the spellcaster is you can basically turn one of the enemies into a sheep that floats into the air, except they're called screeps. And they just sit there and like float in the air, and then you can just shoot them. And while you're shooting them, there's a chance that every bullet you hit them with will spawn one of your spells to shoot off of that enemy onto the other enemies.
And turn them into sheep as well?
No, not turn them into sheep, because so this is your ultimate, and then you've got your spell, which is basically
your spell's like your grenade. It'll spawn.
So it basically spawns grenades off of them.
That's cool. That's awesome.
And so that's that. But then when you unlock the other one, the other ultimate is not really an ultimate ability that you hit just once. It's just the ability to have 2 spells at one time instead of an ultimate and a spell.
So it's like the Gunzerker class from 2, where you could like have 2 weapons equipped at the same time.
Yeah.
When you hit the ultimate.
Yeah. Okay. Except your spells are on the same regular cooldown that they are when they're in your regular grenade slot. But you
get both of them at the same time.
Yeah,
like all the time, all the time, or do you have
constantly?
You have to, okay. So it's not an ult at all. It's just like a passive ult, I guess.
Yeah, but it's super, super powerful, especially for the spellcaster class. And the reason for that is there is a buff called I can't even remember, like sorcerer, or we'll just say sorcerer. That's not what it's called at all, but whatever. So basically, anytime you reload or anytime you cast a spell, you up your spell damage and your gun damage, and
it's one of those stackable. It
stacks
things.
for like 10 seconds. And so you can like shoot a spell, shoot another spell, reload your gun, shoot people, and then you have like a ton of damage going off at once. Yeah. And then it was so cool at the end. So not on my, it was like right after I finished streaming last night, I got this spell that was like, on a lot of the spells, it's straight up like a Harry Potter wand. They'll just like get it up and be like, poof, and like hit somebody with something. And my guy will be like, magic arrows, like shoot it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so it shoots out like a frost frostbolt that like freezes them, and then on my other hand I've got like fireballs, like a 3, and it does a 3-shot, so it's like poof poof poof, so I can freeze them and then do fire damage. And it's fucking epic, dude. Like,
That
it's
sounds
way
really
more
cool.
way more epic than I felt. I mean, granted, in Borderlands 3 I did the giant mech class. I can't remember what that was called, but like
The Necromancer. Well,
Necro-
it's not.
no, it's not
It's
the
not
necromancer, but
that was in like 2, but it's the same kind of thing. Yeah, I know
where
what
you
you're
get
talking
into your like bear
You're-
suit.
You're
and,
basically Diva from Overwatch.
yeah, and by the time I got done playing that game, dude, I was just unstoppable with like, and I could be in that suit like constantly.
Right.
But with this, the subclass that I am is kind of a glass. They call it there's a glass cannon ability, where this is what I was trying to talk to you earlier about when you were like, save it for the podcast. So like 3 rows down on the skill tree, there's an ability that basically, instead of shields, it's wards on here.
Okay.
And but they serve the exact same purpose. And cooldown and refilling and all that. It's all the exact same as Borderlands as the shields. But in this glass cannon mode, my shields do not naturally recharge at all. So if I get hit, I have to have spells that will then refill my ward.
So you have a spell that's like a heal but instead
yeah,
of healing,
so it like
heals
it
your ward.
kind of. I'm not 100% sure how this works, because I do have a spell that says heals based on damage done or something like that, but I'm guessing that like if I'm full health, it will then start to refill my ward.
Okay. Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
But it is definitely a glass cannon type of thing, where like if you get hit too many times as that class and you can't get out of there, because there's so many, because it's like fantasy, there's so many like particle effects and explosions going off that like you'll like lose yourself inside of just a fucking fireball.
That was a thing in Borderlands 3 too, where you'd be like sometimes surrounded by enemies, and once you get stuck, like, and your shield goes down, you can get fucked up really, really quickly. So I imagine it's pretty similar to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you're not, so does that mean you have to keep one of your 2 spells if you're using that ultimate? You have to keep one of your 2 spells as a heal?
Yeah, kind of. But there's like, they call the healing spells dark magic. And a lot of the spells that you find are dark magic.
So that's like a buff on top of another spell?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not like you just have one that's just healing.
Just a heal. No, they're all like basically damage based. So like I got you get your health back based on how much damage you're doing.
I got you. So with that, like if you throw that and then you start hitting them with your gun, is that counting towards that damage meter too?
No, but a lot of them, there was one that I had that would like shoot out like 5 like red arrows, like basically like out of a wand. It would just like, and then like it hits them, it crits them. And then every time it crits them, it shoots out toward the other guys. And so like,
nice.
And then it does DOT. And so like,
you're just constantly healing then.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome.
It's really fun, man. And like, it's so funny. Like whenever you shoot the fireball spell, it's like, and my guy will literally go like fireball, like as he's doing it.
Like the lightning bolt
guy
from
like,
the LARPing
fireball.
thing. Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds like there's some cool combinations you can make with the class creator and the way that they let you kind of drill down. Because that was something that frustrated me in Borderlands 2. Borderlands 3 is a little bit better about this, but like Borderlands 1 and 2, it was like you're set on the path of this class, and that's pretty much it. Like you don't really have a lot of options in the way. I mean, you have options in the way you upgrade your character, but it's mostly just like damage modifiers and stuff like that. This sounds like you can actually create like a pretty diverse set of different classes.
No, you kind of have to pick your subclass in the beginning and kind of roll with it. Because you've got the 2 branches, you've got the 2 branches of the skill tree, and that's it. And like, it's not like in Borderlands 3 where you have like 2 or 3 different pages of skill trees that you can pick from. It's one skill tree that you get. And can
you change your subclass later?
I think you can re-roll. Yeah. But I haven't gotten to the part where you can re-roll.
And you wouldn't keep any of those abilities from that. It seems because that seems limited. It seems like they would.
It
do
is.
something.
It does. It is limited as in comparison to like Borderlands 3. It is limited.
Okay, maybe I got spoiled by 3 because I really did like how you could like.
I did
drill
too.
down.
And dude, I'll be honest with you, I would love to get back on some Borderlands 3 with you. I really do like that game. I hate the writing in Borderlands 3, but the gameplay in that makes up for
If
it.
I could shut off the, I guess you can. You can just turn the dialogue.
Turn the dialogue off. Yeah.
It's a good podcast game for sure. I just hate this character so much. I hate like Borderlands 2, I thought was fun and I liked the story, you know, going after Handsome Jack and all that stuff. Like I thought that was actually
You didn't
done
like
really.
the twins, the influencer
No,
twins?
they're super annoying. They're like Twitch streamers, which is like the most like ridiculous,
Yeah,
not funny
Twitch
thing.
streamers suck, dude.
But they're like the embodiment of every, and I know they're supposed to be. They're like the embodiment of like every bad stereotype of a Twitch streamer, but they're just not funny. They're not like Handsome Jack was funny. Say what you will about the writing in that game, but at least he was funny. He was kind of like how GLaDOS is always trying to kill you, but she talks shit to you at the same time. Like he was kind of like going for that same kind of thing. And the twins try to do that too, but they're just not funny. And then all the side quests were like exceedingly stupid, like just so dumb.
Oh, dude, they're real dumb in this one too. They're real dumb. And like there was one.
This has like the conceit of it's Tina doing a tabletop thing, so of course they're dumb. That might make me a little more forgiving of it. When in Borderlands 3, it's like you're trying to save the galaxy, and then also you're like in a field of mushrooms, like I don't know, like trying to find this one poison mushroom. It's so stupid.
I do like that the different enemy types in this as compared to Borderlands 3, because they're fantasy enemies. Like there's a big group that's the goblins. And instead of like, you know, the regular like psychos
and the midgets and
that's I really like that. That makes things like they kind of have the same styles, the same types of attacks that they do. And instead like but it's just a breath of fresh air to not have the same psychos that you've been seeing for the last 10 years running at you. Instead, it's like this goblin with a giant ass and like a hunchback running at you. Yeah. And like then there's a group of goblins called the goblins tired of forced oppression, or GTFO. And like I have to go help like liberate them from slavery basically. Nice. And that's a fun little side quest that I did last night, that whole quest line.
So quality of life wise, one of the things that really got to me about Borderlands 3 was the map system.
Oh, it's still shitty.
Like, okay, so I fucking hated that. Like it would give you a point on the map and you try to run to it, and then it's like, not here. You were actually supposed to go around this mountain over here.
Yeah, it just gives you the general direction, and then like you have to actually pull up the map and like, oh, I have to go around my ass to get to my elbow for this, but it just pointed me to my elbow.
They didn't fix that or anything.
No, they didn't fix that at all. You still have to be opening the map and looking at which route you need to take. And another shitty thing is there's, at least as far as I found, there are no vehicles. So So you are doing everything on foot.
That means the maps probably aren't as big. I did feel the Borderlands 3 maps were way too fucking big, so that actually might be a good thing.
They are smaller for sure. Areas are smaller.
That's okay with me. Because like Borderlands 3, you spend half the time driving from one area to another, and there's not really anything going on. You don't have any like, it's not like an Elden Ring where you're finding like cool caves off to the side that have like cool loot in it or anything. Like Borderlands 3 is just like, okay, you can fight a couple guys, I guess, but you know, you're probably going to come back to this area anyway, because eventually there's going to be a quest over here. If we built something bespoke for this, there's definitely going to be some quest that takes you over here at some point, so you might as well just blow past all this stuff until you get to your quest objective. And I kind of hated that, so it's good to hear that those maps are smaller.
Speaking of maps, there is now an overworld that you run around in that is like, you are basically like a tabletop minifig running around on a table. And you know how like when me and you, when you play Descent or when you play some kind of tabletop RPG, between dungeons, it'll be like you're traveling to town and like you'll come across someone who needs help or some like
side quests of some sort.
Yeah, there's all that. Like, so like the overworld is kind of that like traveling between missions area, and like you'll come across people who's like, I really just need some ore. Can you go in the mountain and give me some ore? And then you go in, like you go into the mountain, and then it's like a little mini dungeon in there, and you kind of do some stuff, get the guy some stuff, and then you get some currency or whatever for coming
really
out.
cool. I like that way better than the big giant open maps of Borderlands 3.
It's fun and it's funny. And like, I know you hate Tiny Tina, but there's like some really funny narrative stuff that they put in there as well. Like there's one area on this map that I just got to last night. There's like a giant Cheeto that's blocking the path. And it's like Andy Samberg and Wanda Sykes talking to Tiny Tina. And they're like, can you just move that Cheeto? And she's like, that's not a Cheeto. They're like, Tina, you definitely dropped a Cheeto on the board. Can you just get it? And she's like, no. That's a ancient powerful meteor. And the only way to move it is if you find this gem that's in this dungeon that I totally had prepared already. And then like you go and do this stupid dungeon, and then like she picks up the Cheeto, but like because you're a little figure on the board, it just looks like it's like magically lifting up off the board, and then it's like the path is cleared.
Cool. I really like that. That's awesome.
It's like it's got some really clever touches to it that other Borderlands games don't have. Okay. Also, there is tall grass in this overworld area that you have to walk through to get to some stuff. And enemies will pop up like Pokemon, like random encounters will happen in there. and then you go into like you load back into an encounter. They call them just a random encounter. And it's like just a quick little instance where you have to clear out an area of some bad guys, and then you get loot and money afterwards. And so, and XP. So they're worth doing. I've heard, I watched the IGN review before I played this game. And he was saying how he thought they were tedious and kind of didn't add anything, but I think they're clever. You know, as someone who likes the random encounter mechanic and JRPGs, like I think it's a fun little thing. And if you don't want to do them, whenever so they spawn in the grass, then they like walk up to you and then they touch you, and that's how you start the encounter. But if you punch them before they get to you, they just go away and you don't have to do the encounter.
That's the best of both worlds. Then you don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. It sounds like they made a lot of smart concessions to the Borderlands like play style, and also the tabletop, backdrop that they have created for this game, which is really cool because that means it's not just a Borderlands 3 reskin, and it's also not just like a dungeon crawler / Borderland, like a Borderlands Light or something like that. They could have just made it like, oh, you're just doing these like levels that are dungeons, as opposed to like an actual full-on Borderlands game. So it sounds like they made the best of both worlds, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah, might give it a shot now. Without giving away too many spoilers, they switch up the mentality of it being a tabletop RPG at some point, and it's it's kind of clever the way they do that. Yeah, good game. I'm definitely enjoying me some Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Like I said, if you want to check that out, go check out twitch.tv/gaming and drinking. I've been on there a couple times, and I will definitely stream that some more very soon with my new cooler abilities than I had, and I'm sure they will just keep getting cooler. That's the one thing about Borderlands is the more you play it, the more badass shit you get.
That's true. That's very true.
So yeah, that's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. What do you say we take a quick break and then come back with what you've been playing, dude?
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Cheers. We'll be right back with more booze and games. Oh,
boom.
Beautiful. Welcome back, everybody, to Gaming and Drinking, episode 15. We just got done talking about some Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and we've got some fresh beers and some fresh games to talk about.
The hottest,
freshest, newest games. I am drinking. This one is called Megapixels, and it is from Seminar Brewing here in South Carolina. They are in Florence, which is on the way to Myrtle Beach. And I got this one specifically because of this can. It is literally does
fit our podcast.
Off-brand Mario stomping a can. Very, very funny. I love this can art. It's a double IPA. It's 8.5%, 8.6%. Yeah, good stuff.
I like it.
Haven't tried it before. We were talking about IPAs earlier, and this is one of those. So cheers to IPAs and to Mario.
Cheers. I also have an IPA. It's
Mm.
from Bamari Brewing, which is in North Carolina, and New Serum. It's actually a collab. It's called Expedited Reanimation. Is a coconut vanilla lime milkshake hazy IPA.
Okay, that
Lot going
sounds
on there.
crazy.
Yep. I've heard
All
this
right.
is very good.
Vanilla lime cocoa?
Coconut.
Coconut.
Oh, damn, that's good. Oh my God.
Hell yeah.
You remember how we were talking about like flavored IPAs? The
Mhm.
coconut on the end of this is like, it makes it almost taste like a pina colada IPA.
So it's basically it's a summer beer.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that's really freaking good.
Nice.
Cool.
Heck
At least
yeah.
it's not out of date.
Close, not quite. Yeah, so what, Travis, have you been up to in the video game world?
So I'm continuing to quest through Elden Ring.
Of course.
But I also checked out another game called Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. Now, if you know me, and you can see behind me, I'm a huge Final Fantasy person. I played every single game and spinoff that they've ever done. And I've also beaten all the mainline ones. And this game is like a Dark Souls-esque, but that's not really true, retelling of the first game. Except that's also not really true. That's how they framed it when they first started talking about it.
Yeah, they said it was going to be like a retelling of the first story.
So you you should at least download the demo and play through the first little bit of it, because it gives you all of this good stuff. So the game starts with a dark and stormy castle, and Garland, who is the main villain of the Final Fantasy 1, kidnapping the princess, which is like the literal setup of Final Fantasy 1. Except in this version, he is this ginormous, like Dark Souls looking guy who is just slaughtering all these castle guys. Like there's blood and crystals flying everywhere. Like he's freezing people and turning them into blood crystals and then crushing them. It's very violent. It's very weird. And then it cuts to, and this is not an exaggeration, it cuts to a field of flowers where your main guy, Jack, his name is Jack, and he is walking through this golden field of flowers, and these two other bros come up behind him and they kind of look at each other. They pull out these like stones, they grunt at each other, and then they continue to walk towards the castle as My Way by Frank Sinatra plays.
So it's like Gladiator, but nonsense.
It's like Gladiator if Gladiator had like no poetic resonance whatsoever. But there's no death or anything on that field of flowers. It's just supposed to look cool, and it does look cool. But then like there's no setup for these guys, so you don't know why they're hanging out. In fact, the game seems to go out of its way to not tell you anything about that. But these guys are your two companions. Okay. So you go to the first, and then all of a sudden you're in a boss battle, by the way, with
Garland? No,
with somebody who's like he's like one of the summons from other Final Fantasy games. I can't remember which one it is, but he would be like a late game boss in like most Final Fantasy games, but he's like the tutorial boss in this game. And you fight him, and then you're into the like map select screen, basically, so this game is set up like they say it's like a Dark Souls game, but you're going into the map, like you have an overworld map and you're picking missions and then going into them, and it's a level, and then you beat that level and you go back out to the map and you pick a new mission, or you pick like a side. They're called side missions, and they're literally the same level but with like different enemies and different setups with a different objective. So if you ever played Nioh or Nioh 2, it's the exact same style of level select. They would do the same thing in the Nioh games. It's by Team Ninja, the guys who also made Nioh and Nioh 2.
Did they do Bayonetta?
No, they did the original remake of Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah, so they know action games, and I will say this game has amazing combat. Like, it's supposed to be Dark Soulsy, but it's not really. Like, because you don't really use like stamina on attacks and stuff. Like it's also got 3 different forms of blocking, maybe 4, I can't remember. There's like a block, then there's like your psi block, like a psychic shield that you're using to like build up magic point or like SP points or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. You're building up a gauge with that one, and then you can unleash your crystal attack, which is where Jack angrily grabs something, turns it into a crystal, and then slams it on the ground. It's basically the Doom or Doom Eternal.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking. Sounds like a glory
that's exactly what it is. And some enemies you can only damage that way, so you have to build up this meter. And that's not the only way to build it up. You can build that meter through other ways, like just fighting and stuff. But the cool thing about this game is that you're unlocking like several different classes. So you start as like a fighter, which is just your regular sword guy. And then you get a mage class, which he has like a club, and you use the club to build up a different separate meter that allows you to shoot magic. And the magic spells
is it like a billy club kind of thing?
It's like a tiny like
a little one of those mini baseball bats.
Yeah, almost like a mini baseball bat. It's like I think it's supposed to be like a wand, but not like a Harry Potter like kind of flimsy one, like a wand that you could fuck someone up with. I think that's the idea behind it.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Because by the way, I don't know if you've seen the trailers, but Jack is very angry.
He's so mad at chaos.
He wants to kill chaos, and at several points, he pulls out AirPod buds. Yes, AirPod buds. And sticks them in, and new metal starts playing while he starts fucking
hell yeah.
Yeah, and I can't tell.
Is it like Limp Bizkit or
no, it's
like
not a real like it's like
Drowning
guitar,
Pool,
like it's like Japanese new metal. Like there's no like I wish it was Limp Bizkit. Somebody did cut. So I said My Way by Frank Sinatra played. I think Jan Ochoa cut the My Way by Limp Bizkit version into that scene instead, and it actually still worked.
My way on the highway. That's funny as hell.
It was really good. But yeah, so it's not really a retelling of 1 because 1 is like a straight up medieval game, but in this game, like Jack is wearing modern clothes. He's got AirPods. He's listening to metal music. And by the way, Jack's name is Jack Garland.
Oh.
So
it's gonna be like a Star Wars I Am Your Father situation.
No, I think this is a story of how this angry young man becomes Garland from the first Final Fantasy. That's the way it seems to be going. I don't know.
So maybe, like, is the bad guy you're fighting just you from the future?
Well, so that opening cutscene is not connected to the rest of the game from what I've seen so far. So the game,
I'm sure they will roundabout way bring it back to that.
Right, but what I think might be happening is that there's like you're going to go through this whole game, and then at the end you're going to become that guy, and then it's going to show you storming the castle, and then that's how this game ends, and then Final Fantasy 1 begins, because then you take the princess, and that's how, because the prophecy of the first game is there's 4 warriors of light that are going to come and save the world, and in this game you have your 3 bros at the beginning, but really quickly I think the second mission you get a girl companion who, by the way, is just as stupid as the rest of the cast members on this.
As Jack.
They're all so dumb. Like every single character in this game, whenever they talk, you're like, like it doesn't sound like real humans speaking to each other. And again, I can't tell if it's intentional because everyone's so stupid and the dialogue is so like leaden and melodramatic that it almost feels intentional. You know?
Well, like, if it is intentional, then props to him for like making it to where we don't know if it's like that's some real deep meta shit.
It's just
that's what
so
they're going
stupid.
For.
Like the game is so dumb, but also because of that, so fun that it feels intentional, but it also feels like almost like, you know how Snakes on a Plane wasn't as fun as everybody wanted it to be because they were trying too hard. This game feels like they stumbled into it. Like they're not trying too hard. They're just that dumb.
I mean, Snakes on a Plane. I love me some Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah, but when that movie was coming out, people thought it was going to be like the coolest shit ever, and it was just kind of like a dumb, fun movie.
It was just a campy ass, like dumb horror movie.
Well, that game they like they were like, oh, we made a movie called Snakes on a Plane, like we're trying really hard. This game feels like they're like they started out one thing, and then like halfway through, we're like, we got something special here, but it's not really what we intended. But now we're gonna roll with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that kind of thing. So the class system is cool because you're building up these like class job job system, because it's Final Fantasy. You're building up these job points and you spend them and you upgrade your character, but you can also switch classes on the fly or switch jobs on the fly. So you can start like a combo with your fighter and then button mash into a mage attack. and it does it all within like one sequence, and it's super smooth. It's very, very satisfying.
Okay.
I will say, out of everything around the game, all the bullshit around it, that makes it really cool, but the combat is actually very satisfying. You're also getting a ton of loot, which the loot sorting system sucks. It's really hard to do this. I don't know how we haven't figured this out in 2022, but you're constantly picking up loot and stuff, and you're not really able to sort them in any satisfying way because there's all these different parameters. Like some has more attack, some has like more, like if you're a mage class, like more intelligence that goes towards your spells. So it's hard to like sort stuff in a satisfying way. But you're just getting it at such a clip that basically by the end of like the second mission, I was just not even worrying about it until I got done with that mission. I was like, I'll just look at all this stuff at the end, you know?
Okay. That's kind of how I am with the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Like you get so many guns and stuff as you're running through. Most of them are white and green, but like, you know, every now and then you'll pick up a purple or a blue. But in general, it's kind of like, you know, you wait till the end and then you kind of see like, okay, what's worth keeping and what's worth selling
with these
or
games
throwing away.
I always wish there was like a button that you could, or like a tag you could do when you go to sell everything, or you know, scrap everything that gives you points or whatever, that says like, I want to scrap everything that isn't like purple or up to blue or something like that. Like I wish there was,
or like above a score of 150 or whatever.
Yeah, if there's a gear score or something like that. Yeah. Because basically once you reach like the second level of this game, or like in most games, you know, like the level 10, you're not going to use whites ever again. You know what I mean? Like they're just not worth it. So there could be like some games have an auto, like I think Diablo has like an auto scrap button, you know, or an auto like junk button. And then when you go to town, you just sell all junk, which I think is very smart. This game hasn't quite figured that out yet. I'm sure it's going to get a lot of patches that are, maybe we'll get there with the sorting and the inventory stuff, but right now it's just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's fun. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait till I finish Elden Ring, and then I'm gonna dig deep into this game because it is right up my alley. I didn't think it would be. I thought it looks really stupid, but it's fun.
So I have one thing I've noticed about this game is like when it first came out, you know, people were dragging it, like for it just being so bad. But then it's like once people started actually playing it a little more than just like the very first mission or whatever, they're like, wait a minute, there's actually something to this. This actually is a good game. And it's kind of the conversation around this game has kind of flipped on its head. Because it was getting dragged at the beginning. And now people are like, no, this is actually a fun, really stupid, but really fun game.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but like reviews lately for these like types of games have been all over the place. Like this game has like a 75 on Metacritic. The Borderlands Tiny Tina has like a 75. It's like some people love it and some people just don't vibe with it at all. And I've seen this across the board with a lot of big releases lately where people are either super digging it or it's not for them. And there's no like actual consensus. You know what I mean? Kind of like Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West, where it was like some people loved it, but then other people were like, it's not that, like, it's not doing it for me, you know?
Yeah. And I kind of like that. Like, I appreciate that about games in general these days. Ones that know what they are and they're not trying to please everybody. You know, they want to please the people that love this type of game.
That type of game. Yeah.
And so like, I'm glad that like games are finding an identity, because like as people, you know, you can't please everybody. Some people are going to like you. Some people are going to hate you. That's just how life is. And, you know, these games that are like focus tested into the dirt where it's like, all right, let's try to get an 80 on Metacritic.
The Ubisoft.
And yeah, they just kind of, they're bland. They don't have the same life that these other games have. And whether you like or don't like that life, that's fine. But I think it makes for a happier core audience for that game.
It's like kind of like the JRPG thing in the late 90s and early 2000s, where JRPGs would come out and get like 70s and 80s from some outlets, but like the people who like JRPGs would absolutely eat them up, you know? And I think that's the difference now. It's the same kind of thing now where like this kind of action RPG with Stranger of Paradise, or, you know, like the gun Diablo with guns type thing of Tiny Tina, people are like, I like this style of game. I want more of it. And this has a little bit enough to differentiate it from the last version, but also something cool that hooks me. And I really like that. Like some people just really want a Borderlands game that is a little bit different, and that's what Tiny Tina seems to be delivering. I really wanted a Final Fantasy game that had like some crazy action in it, and this game is delivering. Like, it's not. Is it Final Fantasy VII Remake? No, but
how does
is
the
it
combat compare to Final Fantasy VII?
It's completely different. They're nothing alike. Final Fantasy VII Remake is like a tactical action type thing.
It's very similar to 15, isn't it? Isn't 7 very similar to 15?
Yeah, 7's very similar to 15. It's better than 15's combat, but it's very similar to that. This game is more, the shoulder buttons are your attack, and you're building combos up, and you're trying to like build meters, and it's very Team Ninja if you've ever played any of their games.
Okay.
More like Neo than anything else I could describe.
Do you get to use your teammates? Can you like swap into their role and go play as them, or can you like tell them to do certain attacks and stuff?
So
like that?
in 7 Remake, you can do that. In this, you can't do that, but you can also change their classes and stuff, and their armor and weapons. You can change their gear. There's no like I'm going to jump into this guy's body and control him for a little while, like there is in 7 Remake. But if you're like, I need I want a mage class. I have my guy's a fighter. I'm doing fighter and like Lancer because I want to be a Dragoon, which, by the way, there's you evolve 2 classes into 1 class, kind of like in Final Fantasy 14. So if you want to be a Dragoon class, you got to level up fighter to this much, and then like Vanguard up to this much, and then you can evolve into a Dragoon. But say you want to have like a mage guy, you can just go to your stat screen for one of your companions and turn them into a mage. And then they will, I haven't found them particularly like useful or anything, because like I said, they're a bunch of idiots, but their
AI are idiots. Nice. Their AI are idiots too when they're fighting.
So yeah, their characters in the game are idiots, and also their AI is idiots too. So it kind of fits together. But dude, it's fun. Like I'm not sure. In fact, I know it's not going to be for everybody, but if you like this style of game, which I'm a sucker for, and I'm a sucker for like the Final Fantasy dressing on top of it, I think this game will please the people that it's trying to please. It will 100% please them.
Okay.
I was very pleasantly surprised, because if you remember, if you go back to like episode 7 or so, when they released the demo back in June, I was very down on this game, very down on it.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. The trailer was just so stupid.
It was, when I got my hands on it, the demo, I said there's nothing that differentiates it. The combat's not super satisfying. It's kind of slow, like. But now I'm like, oh, there's something here, and it seems fun.
So I have not played 7 Remake. I played like maybe an hour or 2 of 7 Remake, but I played a ton of 15, and so I'm still kind of up in the air about like the whole team aspect of it. Like, I know you said you can turn your teammates into mages and stuff. Mm-hmm. Can you call out and be like, hey, I need heals, or I need a heavy attack on this guy? Or
not that I've seen. Maybe there's stuff later on in the game, because I've only played like up to mission 2.
Okay.
But I haven't seen anything like that. I don't know that there's anything like that. Maybe there is. Maybe you get an ability.
I doubt it. If they haven't shown any of that yet, and they've gone through the tutorials, I doubt there's anything that's going to pop up like that.
The thing is, there's so many systems that you're already playing with, like changing class mid combo, focusing on your meters, things like that, that you really you don't need to try to call out the teammates and stuff, because you're doing so much on your own that you're not thinking about that. It doesn't have that like level of strategy on top of it like 7 and to an extent 15 did. You're basically just focusing on what you're doing the whole time, because you're going to be doing the brunt of the damage and the brunt of the spell casting and all that other stuff. So you don't really have to worry about your companions. They do come in, like there are some times when they take some aggro and you're like, oh, thank God, but it's not, you're not going to call them out and be like, hey, focus on this guy while I focus on this guy. Okay. Although they will do that sometimes on their own. Like say you're surrounded by wolves or something. Sometimes they will go off and like take like 3, they'll kite 3 away from you so you can focus on the big guy, which is nice. I don't know if that's programmed into their AI or if that just kind of happened naturally, but sometimes that stuff does happen, but there isn't a way to like game that, as far as I've seen so far, at least.
Okay. I mean, that sounds, I didn't play Neo. I don't think I've played any Team Ninja games. Never played Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden's so good. So good.
But this does sound like something, that the combat roles and the combat combos and the different roles and stuff like that, that does sound like something I'd be interested in for sure.
It's very fun. when I finish Elden Ring, this is going to be one of the next games I play for sure.
Okay. And in the original Final Fantasy, his name's not Jack, right?
No, it's just Garland.
The good guy who you are.
Oh,
and
no,
that you just create your name, right?
You create four characters in the original game.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, all the characters in this game are named like Jack, Ash. I can't remember the other guy's name, but they all fit in the original text box of Final Fantasy 1 because you could only have four characters, four spaces for the letters in the character boxes for each character. Yeah.
Is there like a black mage and a white mage? Like they wear like their stupid hoods like they do in the original?
So you can turn into a mage class and equip those hoods. Yes, you can.
Yeah. Like I just remember they looked like little Jawas with hats. Like,
yeah, they don't look quite like that. Like they're normal human sizes. So by that extent, like they don't look as like goofy. But they still look plenty goofy if you want to give them the hoods and stuff of the Final Fantasy mage type class.
That was my favorite part of Final Fantasy was just like the sprites. The original, like the sprites in the original Final Fantasy are awesome.
You should see the pixel remasters on Steam. They look very, very good.
Okay.
The sprite work is fantastic in those.
Oh, hell yeah, dog. Yeah. So I know you're only into mission 2. I definitely want to loop back around and get some more Final Fantasy. What's it called?
Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, which is funny because there's already a game on PlayStation 1 called Final Fantasy Origins, which is just Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on a PlayStation disc.
You know, that's one thing that Square's always been good at is with naming their games. I'm glad that they, made it so clear.
Just look at their Kingdom Hearts series if you want to see some really great naming conventions.
Or Dragon Quest 11S.
Echoes of an
Elusive Age Definitive Edition.
S.
Yeah. I think I said S, didn't I?
I don't
know. But yeah, that I don't know. I don't have it. Do you? What else you got for that game? Is that?
That's it. We can move on to we got some good news to cover. Some breaking news.
We got some
this morning.
Yeah, we got some news from this morning. So PlayStation Plus has announced their new tiered system. Formerly called Dawnbreaker. Actually, I don't know. What the fuck was it called? I don't remember.
Spartacus. The code name was Spartacus.
Yeah. So they have their new pricing. Travis, we're sitting here. We both have the same article. If you want to see the details on this, go to GameSpot and look up PlayStation Plus versus Xbox Game Pass, comparing prices, features, and games. Travis, why don't you run us through what that is?
So PS Plus is rebranding itself as PS Plus Essential, Extra, and Premium. Essential is basically the same as it is right now. It's $10 a month, $25 a quarter, $60 a year, which is, I think, almost the exact same price it is right now. And that basically will not change. You get the free games, you get multiplayer access, you get discounts, cloud storage, all that stuff. The interesting stuff is the Extra and the Premium tier. So Extra comes in at $15 a month, $40 a quarter, and $100 a year, which is that's a lot of money. And this includes all of the stuff from the Essential, plus a back catalog of 400 PS4 and PS5 games that will come over time. I assume very much in the same way that PS Now, the streaming service, was. They're saying right now that like Miles Morales and Returnal are going to be part of this, but they haven't announced what those are actually going to be yet. So this is just speculation at this point. So that gets you the PS4 and PS5 extra games. So basically everything that came in the PS Now subscription, if you remember PS Now, except not streaming, it'll be downloadable. If you remember
PS Now, that was here a year ago, but it's probably a lot of people that have forgotten about it because it was trash. I tried to play God of War and God of War 2. Like, so I was in preparation for God of War 2016, 2018. It was 2018, right? It was 2018. Yeah. In preparation for God of War 2018, I wanted to play through all of the first 3 God of Wars. And I had to, the only way to play those was on PS Now. And
streaming the PS2 version,
streaming the PS2 version onto my PS4, which I had good internet, and it's still trying to play an action game like God of War on a streaming service.
terrible.
It sucks so bad. PS
Especially
Now
'cause
is trash. I will
PlayStation-
always stand by that.
So Now also wasn't very good at that. Like I played some streaming games that are just fine, but Now was not good at it. I tried to play the same thing like you. I tried to play Silent Hill 2 on it, and it was like I'm like hitting the stick. That's not even an action game. That's like a survival horror game. Like I'm hitting the stick to move, and then 2 seconds later they move. Like that's unacceptable.
There was just some serious buffering issues that
Yeah.
would go on the back end, I think.
Mhm. And so the last tier is premium. That is $18 a month, 50 a quarter, and 120 a year. And this is the one that I think for most people would be what they're looking for, because it comes with a back catalog of PS3, PlayStation, PS2, and PSP games. Now, PS3 games are only streaming. So if you wanted to play, say, like Red Dead Redemption 1 on the PlayStation, unlike the Xbox version, which you could just download to your hard drive and play on your Xbox Series X, you would have to play it over the cloud. Now, the PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4 games are all going to be downloadable. So if you wanted to play, like I've been playing Xenogears and Legend of Dragoon on my computer, you could play those on your PlayStation 5, downloaded to your PlayStation 5 right now, or whenever the service launches. But assuming that those are included in the service, because the other side of this is they have not told us what's going to be included in the service yet.
And that's kind of sketchy too. Like the fact that it hasn't, they're going to announce this and not tell you what it is, like what's involved with it.
My thinking is that they haven't made the deals with the third parties yet. So that's why they haven't announced it yet.
If Red Dead Revolver is not there, they can go fuck themselves.
I'm sure Red Dead Revolver, because I think Red Dead Revolver was on the PlayStation, the PS Now.
Oh, it was. I played it on PS Now. Red Dead Revolver was a great game.
Yeah. Now, comparatively, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is more expensive for a year. I think it's $15 per month. So it's less per month, but more per year. But also so the other side of this is they're not giving you day and date PlayStation first party games like they are with Game Pass. So you're not going to get God of War Ragnarok the day it launches on this service, but you will get like Gears 6 the very first day it launches. So to me, that's basically the ultimate deal breaker.
Yeah, the day and date thing is ginormous. Especially if you think about, like, if you have one or the other with the Microsoft family, like if you have a PC or an Xbox, not a PC and an Xbox, you can get the basic $10 a month or $120 a year, which is the same cost as if you're playing monthly. It's the same as the Essential PS,
which is the basic tier that we already have.
And if you are paying yearly, it's $120 a year, which is the same as the premium. And you know, I think that is a premium service, getting first party games day and date, especially when you think about all of the developers and publishers that Microsoft has purchased in the last couple of years. Like, they're going to be getting some fucking huge games day and date for $10 a month. Like, I think that in 2024, the launches that are coming out of Xbox are going to be on a clip starting 2024.
Oh yeah.
So like
we have yet to see the fruits of all this buying that they've been on.
It's going to get wild, dude. It's going to get real wild. And then I hope that they don't, but I could see Xbox upping the price for Game Pass after all these launches start.
They will want at some point, probably in the next year, they're definitely going to up that price. Like, there's no way they can keep doing what they're doing right now. It's an insane value. This is less of a value. Sony doesn't have as much money.
Exactly.
So
but and what they're saying is, like, look, you get all these PS1, PS2, PS3 games. The PS3 games have to run your cloud backend, which is shit. And then the PS1 and PS2, yeah, that's great. But, you know, Xbox, you don't even have to buy Game Pass to have Xbox backwards compatibility.
That's the other side of this. Like, if I can buy some of these games, if they're doing the work to make them downloadable onto the system, I should be able to buy
a disc,
you know, like the version, or put in my disc. Yeah, like that's what you can do with Microsoft. I should at least be able to purchase a PS1 or PS2 download of say Silent Hill, like we were talking about earlier, or like Legend of Dragoon, or Final Fantasy VII, which you can buy a remake of that on the not even the remake, but like the old version, but up-res and stuff. But you should be able to buy the old PS1 versions of and PS2 of these games and have them run on your system if they're already going to make them downloadable. That means that they have an actual like SDK that is downloaded to the hard drive that you play it off of. So there's no reason why you can't just buy the fucking game itself, right? Like,
yeah. And like I think PlayStation, it might not be this year, it might not be next year, but I think this is a big hubris mistake by them, making it to where you get these backwards compatible games for this price. If you're not going to include day and date first party games, don't make people pay $120 a year to play PS2 games.
I don't know if it's a hubris thing.
Or like they need to make it just, like you were saying, make it to where you can buy those games up like for a cost to you at a discount because they're so old. Right. Much like Xbox does with a ton of their old stuff.
You could do that on the PS3. Like I bought these games before. Like I bought Legend of Dragoon, I bought Xenogears, I bought like fucking Vagrant Story on my PS3 for $5.99 a piece, which is a great price for some of them were $9.99, but like a great price for those games. Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, like a lot of those games I've already purchased. Are those purchases going to come over?
No,
of course they're not. Like that sucks. But
if it was Microsoft, they would though.
I know they would. That's crazy. But but here's the thing. I would buy them again. If they sell them for the same price, $5.99, I can buy Vagrant Story again. I have them on my computer. I can play them for free right now. But I would definitely do that just to own them on my PS5. So when I want to sit down and play that game on my couch, I could do it. You know what I mean? Like I would definitely do that. Give me the option, right? Like I think that's the big thing.
And that's why I say it's a hubris thing, because they think that people love their back catalog so much that they are going to pay $120 a year for their back catalog. Like that's the only difference between premium and extra is their back catalog.
But they haven't ruled out that they're going to do the purchasable ability. Yeah. But I think they see themselves as a Netflix type now. Like you can't just purchase those movies on Netflix and own them forever, right? Like you can do it on
Amazon or Vudu
or whatever. Amazon. Right. But I think they're going to see this as more of a Netflix thing where, you're paying for the ability to play them at this moment, not in perpetuity.
But also Netflix is bringing out new content to that same subscription that you get for that subscription.
But you're still going to
pay the essential. You could pay the essential and get the plus games.
But you also with the mid-tier one, you get the PS4 and PS5 games. So they will be bringing new content. It's just not going to be day and date on release. So eventually, like God of War Ragnarok will come to the service. That'll probably be like a year or two after it launches. So
you think? I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh no, they've already that's the whole point of it. Like God of War 2016, 2015, 2018 is going to be on this service as a downloadable game. So no doubt after a year or two, they're going to add the sequel to it. Like it's their game. They have no reason not to.
Yes. But if people like PlayStation enough to pay for the extra, they're going to not want to wait to play that game.
Exactly. That's why they're doing this, because they know they can get both of those people. They'll get people to pay for both. And that's why they're doing it. 100%. You have just solved why they're not doing the day and date thing. PlayStation fans will pay for both. At the end of the day,
I love PlayStation. I'm not going to pay them $120 a year for a back catalog. I'm
keeping my subscription.
Legally emulate.
Yeah.
Everything. And yeah.
I think with the advent of emulators too, like, are we going to get save states with these games? Like, are we going to get rewind
any kind of upgrade?
Like fast forward, can I put shaders on these things? Can I do fast forward? Can I do rewind? Like if you don't have even that basic emulation function, which literally every emulator on the PC has those basic functions. If you don't even have that stuff, like count me the fuck out. Like I'm not even going to mess with it.
And I mean, if you think about the Xbox backwards compat too, how much work they put into upping like frame rate and textures,
HDR.
like auto, like they have
They
put
do.
in the work to make these games run better on the Xbox and the PC than they did on their original consoles. PlayStation, I know they haven't. I know for a fact they haven't.
Well, we'll see when it gets closer to time, because I don't think this is launching until June. So maybe they've got time to do a little bit of extra work. But yeah, you're right.
I'd be willing to put money on the fact that
Microsoft
they
had
didn't.
a team of engineers working for months to do this. So, you know, we'll see how it all shakes out. I'm at least I'm curious about it. Like, I'm probably not gonna switch my subscription service. I'm probably just gonna stick with what I got. But like, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt until they come out and say like, hey, this is just a ROM running on the fucking PlayStation. Like,
dude, unless they just have the most bangingest PlayStation and PlayStation 2 catalog that I can get, then and they've done things to them to make them run better on this system.
yeah,
There's no reason for me to up the cost that I'm paying to them. And I'm
Absolutely
not.
not.
I will put my vote with my wallet and keep it where it's at.
I think if you are interested in a subscription service right now, the way things are at this moment, there's and you have a PC or an Xbox and you have the ability to play on PC or Xbox, there's absolutely no reason to give up Game Pass for this service.
And you know what sucks is like, I love PlayStation. I really do. And so it really sucks to like say that, because, you know, over the years, I felt like PlayStation's done right by the consumer. I really feel like this is not that, though. It's not.
I think it's bad. And I mean, again, I'll save complete judgment until it actually releases and we see what the catalog is. But I think this so far, at the very best, is underwhelming.
Yeah. But anyways, that's enough of the downer news. Let's get into one more thing that I think is a little
we've talked about on the show before.
Is Apex Legends.
PS5 version, PS5, Xbox Series X native versions out today.
Yeah, and have you fucked around with that at all since you've been home?
I booted it up. I played a little bit. Looks great, crisp.
Did it look better than before?
Noticeably, yeah. But also, this is a game where you're constantly running through the environment and not really taking it in. Like, it's not a game where you're definitely going to see, like, it's got HDR now, 4K. It runs. It already ran at 60 all the time, but I feel like there was occasionally a little bit of slowdown. I haven't got into it enough to notice if that's all completely gone, but it does look noticeably sharper. But it's the same Apex that you know and love. People are disappointed. We were reading the Twitter comments earlier. People are disappointed there's not 120 hertz support yet, although that is coming. They've said already that that's coming. But like, I don't have 120 hertz TV, so it doesn't matter to me.
Like 4% of the population has 120.
If you care about that stuff, then you need to be on a PC with 144 hertz refresh monitor, like I have. Like, that's
yeah. Also, it comes as a very pleasant surprise, because lately, you know, I've tried to keep my ear to the ground, my eyes on the prize there, and see what EA's been doing there. And lately, like, what I've been seeing is, you know, we're focusing on mobile. We're focusing on Apex Mobile. And now they just kind of shadow dropped it today.
Did it.
Like,
just
like, here's your PS5 patch.
You know what the actual best part of this is, though? Is that the PS5 doesn't have the install thing that the PS4 had.
What do you
mean?
know
how it would, the download, and then it would take forever to actually install
the copying.
Yeah. PS5 doesn't do that.
Oh, okay.
So like,
it does that for a lot of updates, doesn't it?
No, it does that for the PS4 updates on the PS5.
Oh,
but the native versions of
the
these
new
games
version isn't going to have that bullshit.
Yeah, it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that second step that the PS4 versions of things have.
Which is the stupidest. I don't understand it, man. The copying for updates on the PlayStation 4 is shit.
So I will never have to deal with that again. Also, the game is like 30 gigs less than the PS4 version. That happened with Cyberpunk on PS4 is like 120 gigs, and the one on the PS5 is like 50 gigs. I don't know why it's like that. Maybe it's just doing the one 4K textures.
There's some new compression tech, probably.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, noticeably less of the install size and noticeably less downtime when you're waiting on that patch, when all your friends are like, hey, let's play some Apex, and you got to wait on that one guy that's copying. So
I think, yeah. Oh, me, you mean? I think Sony bought Pied Piper.
What?
You ever watch Silicon Valley?
No.
Oh, damn it. That joke doesn't mean shit to you then.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Damn it. You need to watch Silicon Valley.
I've heard it's good, but no.
It's real good. It's real good. The guys make like some compression software that Google wants to buy. Except it's not Google, it's Hooli.
And
they call it Pied Piper.
It's a good name for compression software.
Originally, it was like it's supposed to be some kind of music software that made high quality music downloads. But then they realized that, the music part of this doesn't mean shit. It's the compression aspect that we care about. It's a real techie, nerdy show, but it's fucking hilarious. Damn it, I wish you'd watch that, because then that joke would have landed great.
Sometimes the joke is just for you, and that's okay.
Anyways, I just finished this beer.
I'm almost finished with this one.
I think that's a good place to cut the episode. What you think?
I think that's good.
I think I'm gonna go stream some Tiny Tina's Wonderlands here in a few minutes.
Sweet.
Yeah. So anyways, I think that's a good place to end it. We had some sad news. We had some happy news. We had some games.
I don't know if the PlayStation news could be really considered sad, but
it was sad for me. I'm a little sad now.
That's true.
I'm just kidding. It's been great. I love everybody. Everything is fantastic. 13%
sitting now. If you guys were wondering.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Yes. That's making it way better. Way better.
I think so.
Yep. You look completely sober now. That's what sober people look like.
Totally sober. Yeah. Anyways, cheers, everybody. Cheers to the internet. Cheers to games. Cheers to booze. Cheers to you. Tell your mother you love her. Tell everybody you love them.
And tell other people about the Gaming and Drinking Cast if you're listening.
Yeah. We've started to have a little more listeners come through and start checking us out. So we appreciate that every time. So if you got some people that like booze and games, tell them to come listen and send us if you have any questions, by the way, send them to gaminganddrinking@gmail.com. That's gaming, letter N, drinking@gmail.com, or on Twitter @gaminganddrinking, and same on Instagram. Twitch.tv/gaminganddrinking is where you can find us acting like idiots.
That's right.
And we will be recording another episode next Tuesday. We hope to see you guys there. And cheers, everybody.
Cheers.